And I hope Comrade Gavin is not be counted among those that were cleverly removed from the scene. And I know that Comrade Gavin has died at a point when his name has been raised, and indeed, as has been informed, he has been preparing to go to the Commission to respond to a number of allegations that have been made against him, so that he could clear some of the matters that needed to be cleared. And I hope perhaps those in the company will also have an opportunity to do so. We are living in an era that is very strange, that those who fought for our freedom and therefore were vilified by the apartheid system and those who were not vilified, they've been turned the other way around. Those who were fighting and sacrificed everything to bring about freedom are today made the worst people to look in the country. And our media plays a big role in this. It's a narrative that has been deliberately shaped to undermine our freedom. Now, I just want to say one or two things. I don't want to say many things because some of the comrades who are being taken away are comrades who are very close to me in terms of the work and understanding of where we come from and where we're going. There is something I think we did not watch, that South Africa is a very strategic country geographically. For the history that has seen men driving machines across the seas and oceans, it has become very important. At the level of global economy and global politics, South Africa is very important. And therefore there are people who have felt South Africa could not be allowed not to be under their control. And that means they spend time identifying those whom they believe are an obstacle. And they are hated. And they are always looked at to be people who needed to be removed. And I hope we are not dealing with that case here. Particularly because the Watson family have been under the spotlight of our enemies for many years, and it had not stopped. Hence, suddenly, we got to the stage where a commission was used to further deal with this family. And I'm hoping very sincerely that there will be explanations of many of the things. And I think Comrade Premier has made an important point, which I don't want to repeat. But I think it is important to understand, particularly to those who are comrades, that our effort to liberate our country is not yet over. You should know that what led us into negotiations, more directly and very specific, was because of the global changing of the balance of forces. When the socialist world disappeared, the world had changed in a particular way. Apartheid South Africa could no longer use the excuse that if we allowed the ANC to take over the country, we will be allowing the communists. That was an argument they used to persuade Western countries not to dump them, to support them. But the time came when we had to negotiate. Now, when we're negotiating, I think there are some of the things of finer but very important things we did not watch at the time. Perhaps we took things for granted. For an example, when we're negotiating, or to put it more correctly, before we negotiated, the apartheid system had a problem to deal with. What, as it asks itself a question, and we did not know this, what are we going to do with the enemy agents that are within the liberation movement? And that issue was avoided in the debate, in the negotiations, probably because it's a sensitive issue. And if I don't say it, who will say it? We believed that when we negotiated and concluded everything, everything was over. And therefore, even the issue of pursuing the enemy agents was no longer the issue. Because what else will they be informing on if the war has ended of liberation? Very simplified logic we did not know. We negotiated in good faith. But what did the apartheid authorities do? They did not want to hand over or to leave alone their agents. They worked with their friends, other countries, big countries, and one country in particular. They had an agreement to hand over